Hello everybody, welcome back to Bring Life Indoors. It's Moira here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're doing well and having yourself a beautiful day. I'm sure you already can tell what I'm all about, or what I'm on to, or what I'm about to do. These are all, well, it's not all of them, it's most of my propagations which are ready to be potted. I love propagating. I take cuttings from most of my plants around the house, and I propagate them. And for a time, I'll enjoy them in water and using them as displays, or just waiting for them to root. And once they root, and I feel it's time for me to transplant them into soil, then I do that. But if I feel I'm still enjoying them and the look and all of that, of them being in water, I leave them, and I enjoy them, because most of these plants don't mind growing in water. You know what I mean? They are okay. They are okay. So, I'd love, I'm there where I feel I want them in soil. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm transplanting them into soil. I've got this, I'm going to plant this. This is a rubber plant. So I've got also different, a few kinds. It's not actually all sorts. It's just a few kinds. It's not a lot of different kinds. It's just a few. Got pothos. I've got spider plant. Yeah. So, and obviously rubber plant and pilia. So this one, it lost all its leaves, the stem, but you can see there's roots coming up. So I'm going to put these together in the hope that this one will in time develop new growth, and I hope it will take well to this transition and not rot, or just a minute, and not rot, or yeah. So I'm going to keep them together. It's the same plant, and I keep them together. So this is my rubber plant. This is a cutting from my mother plant. So yeah, and that's it. That's all we are doing today. Attending to most, you can say about 90% of my 90% of my water propagations. Some I'm not doing that to them. I'm still enjoying them as displays. One of these days I will again take you around my house and just show you the ones basically using them as displays. I'm not planning on transplanting them into soil anytime soon. So that's number one done. And now we're gonna do, let's see, we can maybe do this one. This is something, what's the name again? I forget the name, goodness gracious. I love this plant. It's very easy to propagate. Yeah, it's very easy to. So what I do with it, the minute it gets leggy, I just start chopping, and this is from my mother plant. The minute this gets leggy, I start chopping and propagating. And the more I've seen, the more you do that to it, the more it, what's the word? The more it will get full. It's the same as any other, any plant you chop and trim and prune, then the pot gets fuller. It just gets more beautiful and beautiful. So that's what I do with them. When they get all leggy, I do that. I start chopping it up, and then obviously put the cuttings in water, and things like that. So it's not a loss when you decide to cut your plants. It's actually a win-win. Pruning your plants or taking cuttings from your plants, it's a win-win situation. Win-win in the sense that to the mother plant, you're encouraging new growth, you're encouraging it to bush out. And with the cuttings that you have, you basically are just, you are multiplying the plant that you love. You're actually gonna gain more plants. You can give it to friends, you can keep it and put it in the next room. Maybe there's a room which you don't have this plant in, with a beautiful bright light situation. Yeah, you can. That's how you don't have to buy a whole lot of the same kind of plants. You can literally just buy one plant if you like. Let's say you're looking for golden pothos and you want to have it in most of your rooms. Just buy one, a good size, and as you go along, you just take cuttings from it, you put it in water, and slowly, before you know it, you would have filled up you would have had that plant in every single room of your house from one mother plant. So that's what's beautiful about propagation. It allows you an opportunity to have more than one plant from one plant. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna put this one in. You won't believe, there's a story behind this pot. If you can see closely, basically it's broken. Can you see that? And it's really broken. I didn't feel like fetching the drill to drill a hole, and which I usually do. And that day I decided to use a nail and a hammer, and I've done that a lot and it works. 90% of the time it works. A nail and a drill, there's a way to do it that you make sure that you don't break your plant. So I did that with this one. You have to do it slowly, you have to do it gently, but eventually you do get a hole. But the nail must be not too thick, like not too, I don't know. I'll do it one of these days just to show you the madness I'm talking about, which works 90% of the time. It works. But this time around, I tried that and I think I was too heavy. I know I was too heavy on the hammer, and man, it broke. And it was coming along well. If I show you, if I can get close, I'll show you. You can see the hole here. It was coming along well. We were getting there, but I think I just got a bit too heavy on the hammer and it broke. It broke. This, it was like a triangle kind of a hole. But I took all the pieces, put them back together and sellotaped, and took away one piece to obviously as a hole. So yeah, it's held by sellotape inside, not outside. I don't want it to be held by sellotape outside because over time with water that will fall apart. But I'm hoping this situation, the soil will continue to press down the tape, and hopefully, maybe I should add more tape. Hopefully, it will remain intact, So yeah, I hope it will remain intact. Just to be safe, I'm gonna add more sellotape in here. Just to be safe, right? We don't want a situation where things falls apart, Boom. But I'm making sure that the hole remains open. It's just to make sure that the pieces I'm trying to hold together stays together. Yeah, the things plant people do, maybe it's just me. One of these days I must do a video on all the tricks and things I do, and yeah. I don't know. Share, what do you do in a situation like this? Do you throw your pot? I love this pot. I really do. If it was a pot I couldn't care much about, I I would have thrown it away, honestly. The only reason I kept it is because I love the pot. I really, really love the pot. So that's why it's still here, you know. So the next plant I want to do is this spider plant. Now, spider plant fills up pots very quickly, so I don't have a problem putting it in this pot. I don't feel it's too big for it. I have no doubt in no time these roots will be taking over this pot. And water wise, I know it loves to be on the moist side of things, you know. I let my spider plants, yes, dry up in between waterings, and then I give them water to drink, you know. So I know it won't mind this size of a pot either. So there we go. That's what I'm going to have in here. Again, this is a propagation. These are the babies I took from one of my mother plant in the house. So yeah, there we go. Done. Done. And one thing I love about this pot, it's a hanging pot. It's got 3 holes. It's got about 3 holes on the side, so you can feed a cord and hang the pot. That's why I love this. I love it so much. And the fact that I broke it, I still can't believe it to this day. I really still can't believe I did that. Okay, now we're going to do my golden pothos. I've got this beautiful plant, also pot plant also. It's nice and shallow and I love it. I've had it for a long time. It's seen life in our time together. I mean, you can see there's a chip there, you know, there's a chip there, but it's okay. It's got a story to tell, right? You don't throw away a pot because it's got a chip. I always feel they've got a story to tell. They really have a story to tell. And this one story is, it fell. You know, it tipped over, you know, and this part broke, just that part, and I was able to get all the pieces and glue them together, just this portion. But if you look closely, I don't think you can see it on the outside, which is beautiful, but if you look in the inside, there's a crack running this way, but you know, yeah, but it wasn't cracked open, but you see that line of a crack, it runs and it stops here. But the thing that fell out was this part, which I was able to get all the pieces except this piece here, which you can see. That one, yeah, I couldn't. So yeah, that's a story. Pots have a story to tell. They all do. So I've got golden pothos here with me, right? I've got quite a few cuttings of golden pothos here with me. I want to see how many I can fit in one pot, you know. And look how beautiful. This is beautiful, eh? So let's see how many. Let's just do this. Let's see how many I can fit in one pot. Now, these cuttings have been in water for a while. Trust me when I say for a while. Look at those beautiful, beautiful roots. It can even just be this and I'll be happy. I don't need to have more than what it is. It can, maybe I should just do this, right? I'm just gonna do this. I'm not gonna try and put a whole lot in here. I love the look already. So I hope, let's see. I hope I'm able to keep this look. You know, sometimes when you plant things fall apart and take a different shape and form than what you actually are looking for. So let's see. Just need to add more soil. You see what I mean? The beauty of propagations is you end up with a beautiful pot of whichever plant you decided to take cuttings from. And you can put this in some of your other rooms in the house where you would love whichever plant it is that you are propagating. Okay, this, I need to make sure that it's in there. We don't want anything to stick out. So yeah, I love the look. So I decided to not add a whole lot of other cuttings in here. Oh, I love it. I love how it's coming together. I just hope, let me just put soil there in the middle. I just hope it's covering all the roots, you know. I hope so. Let's turn it around and see. There's still some that are standing out. This is beautiful. Just gonna check in the middle. You wanna make sure, because if one is sticking out and the roots are not covered, trust me, within a short space of time, you'll be seeing it drying out and being yellow, and like this one is not in the soil. I need to stick it into the soil and then make sure that, yeah. There we go. I think I've got every cutting in the soil, every root in the soil. Isn't she lovely? I mean, look at that. So when I water them, I'll make sure that I dust them also. I'm trying to see where to put all of these without still allowing you to see what I'm doing here, because I can't stack them all up here in front of me. Okay, let's put this back in here. Now, that was golden pothos, but I still have more golden pothos here with me. So let's see if we've got another pot. You know, I've got this lovely, beautiful pot. This is a beautiful, lovely pot. I love this pot. The only thing about it is that it doesn't have a drainage hole, but I don't have a problem with pots that don't have a drainage hole. I must be honest, I've had a good practice with pots that don't have a drainage hole. I wouldn't advise it if you haven't had a good practice. I would say start small, because small pots that don't have a drainage hole are very forgiving. You know, this is small, it doesn't have a drainage hole. They are very forgiving in the sense that they dry out very quickly, and even if you overwater them a bit, you know, trust me, they will dry out for you super quick. Chances of you killing that plant over root rot are less because the pot is small. And the bigger and bigger you go, if you don't have practice, chances of you killing that plant with root rot are high, because you just have to make a mistake of giving it too much water than what it needs, and that water just sit there. It doesn't go anywhere for a while. It takes a while to dry out, to evaporate and dry out, and before you know it, you're dealing with something else, which is root rot, which you don't want to deal with. So if you don't have practice with pots without a drainage hole, I would advise that you start small. Practice. If it's something you want to try, why not? There's no law against these things. I always say there's no law against these things, you know. Why not try? Why not try and see what happens? And you surprise yourself. We learn as we go, right? We learn as we go. So go and try it, but start small and work your way up. You see, okay, this one, once you pass it, then you know, I know exactly how much. And if you feel you've put a lot, I always say, if you feel you've put a lot of water, you just let it sit for a while, that, you know, for a few minutes or so, until you feel it has sucked up what it needs. Then you come back and you tilt it, making sure that you don't lose the soil. To let anything drain that is still sitting at the bottom. That's what I do if I feel I gave a plant that's sitting in a pot that is non-draining, that doesn't have a hole at the bottom. If I feel I've given it too much water, I come back later and I drain out what is left in that, what is sitting at the bottom, basically, by tilting the pot at the sink and letting everything drip out. And there you go. So there's ways around these things. There's ways. That's why I say there's no law against these things. Just because someone else struggles, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try it, right? So, like I said, I've got a lot of golden pothos in here that can show you my favorite plant. It's one of my favorite trailing plant. It's very easy to care for, no issues at all. Now, this one, you can see all the leaves are gone, but I've got the roots, beautiful roots, but there's another growth point coming out there at the bottom. So I'm gonna leave it like that, and I'm gonna plant it with the rest. You know, I've got other cuttings here, still golden pothos, and the same. So when I do this, when I take my cuttings and plant them, I want to check that there's nothing rotting like this. Then I take it out, because you don't want to plant this, you don't want to put this in your soil, right? You want to check if everything is still okay, everything is still kosher, you know, and things like that. So let's see, what else do I have here? Here's another golden pothos. You know, so I'm adding all these cuttings together. And here's another golden pothos. So I can actually make a nice big pot out of this. Here's another golden pothos. And I hope it's all golden pothos, because some I think were marble queen. I actually need to check. Yeah, these I know is golden pothos, but I think these are marble queen. Their variegation is different. It's not the same. And this is definitely golden pothos. So we're gonna take this. This is golden pothos, and we're gonna add it together with this beautiful, beautiful mama. So that's how the pot is gonna look like. So in these, I'm gonna pot them alone, because this is definitely not golden pothos. Is marble queen. I think I've gotten all the golden pothos. But now the question is this pot big enough? Right. I actually think I want to put it in this pot. I think I want to put it in this one with a non-draining, the non-draining pot, the one without a draining hole, basically. Yeah. And make sure you remove all the dead leaves the same way you are removing all the brown stems, you know, and once you secure it, you put it in the pot like I'm doing. Try to make sure that most of the roots are, you know, they're not shallow, that they can all be covered with soil, you know. So we're gonna do that. There we go. And I think it's gonna look nice in this pot. So yeah, don't shy away from trying something new just because someone else feels they have failed at it. As long as you are doing right by your plants, you are not, I mean, don't shy away. Try it. You might actually realize that what you thought you couldn't do, you actually are able to do it. So with me, I never shied away from it. Yes, I've listened to many YouTubers out there back in the days who say it's not good to plant in a pot without a drainage hole, and I followed that. I was one of the people who also followed it. And when I heard someone saying that, I thought, wow, okay, no, I'm not gonna plant in a pot without a drainage hole for sure. And you know, and obviously to me, what they said made sense. It did make sense. It really made sense. I'm not saying it didn't make sense. It still makes sense to this day. To say chances of you overwatering that plant are there, even if they're minimal, but the point is they are there. They exist. Those chances are there. And you are less likely to land up in that situation with a pot with a drainage hole, and you are more likely to end up in that situation with a pot without a drainage hole. So if you don't know what you're doing, you will end up in that situation. You might end up in the situation. So yeah, I took that advice in my early days of collecting plants, and trust me, I made sure that every pot I buy has a drainage hole, and if it didn't have a drainage hole, I didn't use it as a pot to plant my plants in. I used it as a cover pot. You know, I'll plant in a plastic nursery pot, and then I'll put it in here, and this will be its cover pot. But as I grew, I just need to grab a cloth, just a minute. So as I grew in this journey of collecting plants and potting up plants and looking after my plants, I started experimenting. I started trying things out, and also learning from other people, and seeing, oh, they can do it, I'm gonna try. Okay, this one can do it, I'm also gonna try. And I started challenging myself to say, if someone else can do it and plant in a pot without a drainage hole, it means it's doable, it means it's doable. And I'll never learn and know until I try to do it myself. And I did. And yes, it was I learned a lot in the beginning, and I'll be lying if I say I didn't lose certain plants over root rot, because yes, there were times where I thought I gave it enough, but I gave it a little bit too much, and before you know it, it's been sitting in that for so long, and you pull it out, the plant the roots are rotting. But as the more and more, and I never gave up, I never stopped, and the more and more I continued to do it, the better and better I got at it. And today, it's not something I shy away from, If I have a pot that I like this gray one, and which I feel is too thick, and I feel like I don't want to, because there's certain pots, apart from the fact that I felt like it was, if I'm gonna drill it, I felt like I was gonna be drill. It's like you're drilling into a brick. But the other point was, there's certain pots you don't want a hole on them, because you wanna switch them up as you go. One day you'd wanna use it as a cover pot, and another day you'll wanna use it as a pot itself, like I'm doing. I don't want to drill a hole on it. So yeah, there's pots like that I have which I don't want to drill a hole on them, and some, yeah, I'm excited to drill holes on them. So yeah, so over time I got better at it, and it doesn't mean I didn't lose plants, but it came with a lesson for me. I learned a lot and I grew, and I don't regret ever going that route and trying. So I don't know who I'm encouraging. My goodness, it's like a whole long session of, yeah. I hope I'm encouraging someone that it's okay, go try it, but start small. Start small and work your way up, start small. So yeah. Okay, let's see here. Now I've done my marble queen. This last one I was doing is a marble queen, and I've done two pots of golden pothos. I mean, it's two substantial pots of golden pothos. I mean, it's amazing. And I've got your spider plant and this beautiful, I don't know if it's Jude. Are you Jude? I don't know. And now I'm going to do this heart-shaped leaf. I don't have a lot of these cuttings. It's just a few, but I've had it in water for so long, and look at those roots. And I'm actually wondering if it's not better to put it in this pot, because I've got two. Yeah, I think it's better. Let's just see if there's anything that's rotting here that we take it off. Okay, no, there's nothing. Okay, so here's another one. Are you? It's a bit pale. Okay, And let me just try and pull it out of here. Again, it's been in here for a while, not as long as the other one. No, this one was not as long. These are the recent propagations of mine. So I want to align the roots nicely. There we go. And now we're going to put this into soil. All right, this will be my heart-shaped leaf pot. There we go. I love trailing plants. They fill up spaces amongst your collection beautifully. If you are like me and you are collecting plants and you love plants like I do, they fill up spaces amongst your collection absolutely beautifully. And yeah, that's why I love them. You can never go wrong with them. You know, you can never go wrong with them. If you are looking for something that will fill up a space in a shelf, maybe you've got other plants and whatever, but they're not trailing, and you're looking for just that plant that will fill up that little corner and trail at the same time in a bookshelf or in a display shelf, or a trailing plant is one of them. It makes such a beautiful statement. You can look for a beautiful pot that fits your style and fits your what do you call it? Your you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. It fits your style, and then there you go. They say Bob is your uncle. I like saying that to my kids, and they ask me, who is Bob? Actually, can I ask someone why that term, Bob is your uncle? Anyway, so now, if you know, please share. So here is my, I want to remove everything. Some things, when you take cuttings to propagate, there's certain cuttings that will not take, and it's okay. That's why the more cuttings you have, the better. I always say, even in my back in other videos I've made, it's something I've always said, to say the more cuttings you have when you want to propagate the plant, the better, because during the propagation process, there's certain cuttings that won't take. You will lose certain cuttings. And even during the transition process, where you are transitioning your cuttings from water to soil, there's certain cuttings you will lose, because somehow they didn't take well to soil. You know what I mean? So the more cuttings you have, the better. And and you are giving yourself high chances of being left with a good size pot. Now, if it's just one or two cuttings of these, if those two cuttings don't make it, it becomes a sad situation, or if only if only two cuttings make it, it will grow eventually to a good looking plant, but it will take time. You know what I mean? Yeah, so don't be scared to take a whole lot of cuttings, Now, even with this one, I'm wondering if I should give it a bigger pot, slightly bigger. I think I should, just slightly bigger. I've got substantial roots here. Again, you need to make sure that everything is in there. And then you come back to the other side. So I love propagating. I really, really do. I really, really do. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot over the years with regard to propagation. I really have. I've learned a lot over the years. And yeah, there's things that worked and things that didn't work. And I didn't lose heart. You failed, and it doesn't mean don't try again, and now you try again and it works. And there's been times where I take a cutting from a plant, not these, your pothos are easy, your philodendrons, some of your philodendrons, some plants are easy to propagate. But there's been times where I've cut, like your fiddle leaf fig. There's been times where I cut a fiddle leaf fig, like recently, not if you follow me on Instagram, not long ago, a few months ago, I took a cutting from my fiddle leaf fig, and it was more to encourage it to branch. It was never really about multiplying or anything, though the excitement of having another fiddle leaf fig, man, I mean, why not? I mean, I've got a few. I love fiddle leaf figs. And that cutting didn't make it. That cutting did not make it. I think it was too cold for it, and I did it in the middle of winter. And this winter, I feel like it was our winter this year. I feel like it was very cold, and it might just be me because I'm not a fan of winter. I probably feel like that every year, but somehow this year I felt like it was a little bit too much for me. So yeah, that cutting did not make it. It did not make it. I took cuttings from my rubber plant and my fiddle leaf fig. My rubber plant cuttings made it, all of them. And my fiddle leaf cutting, because it was just one, did not make it. The minute, it didn't, it was not even, there's times where it looks like it's making it, and then somehow maybe, I don't know, you took long to change the water, or maybe it dried up for too long or whatever. It was not the case. I put it in water, and that leaf went from a beautiful firm leaf, and it flopped. And then I thought, okay, let me give it humidity and all that and warmth. So I put it in one of my greenhouse box, and still it continued to go south from there. It just rotted, and nothing good developed from it. So yeah, things like that do happen, and not everything is in your hands or in your control. So it's good to remind yourself that if you're going to collect plants, to say, you know what, it's not always going to go my way, and it doesn't mean I failed. Yes, there's times where I know I failed. Trust me. I know that I don't need to even, but there's times where it has nothing to do with you. It's just, it is what it is. Like my kids would say, it is what it is. It is what it is. You just have to move on. And maybe next time take another cutting and hope for the best. That's it. And it doesn't mean I've never propagated a fiddle leaf before. I have propagated successfully a fiddle leaf fig before, and I have it. It's in my bathroom. It's growing beautifully. That cutting propagated well. Then I transferred it to soil, and it took well to soil. And to this day, it is doing absolutely well. It's in my bathroom. No issues whatsoever. And its mother plant is doing well. It branched out for me beautifully. No issues or whatsoever. Can you see this? So some of these things, they're not in our hands. You might get it right today, and tomorrow it decide to go south, and not necessarily because you did something wrong, but because, you know what? Yeah, it was what it was, or it is what it is. But anyway, I think I'm done. Oh my goodness. Okay, no, I'm left with these pillias. I've got this pillia. Now, this one stalk is nice and short, so it means I can afford a smaller pot. I'm thinking of putting them in one pot though. Why not? Oh, Moira, really, you just did that. You really just ran water all the way through. So much of not making a mess. Do you talk to yourself? I do. I do talk to myself. And it's okay. I think it's healthy. I really believe it's actually very healthy to speak to yourself. And yeah. Okay. This is still a bit not as deep as I would like it to be. I don't know if I should cut this, but maybe let's just do it. You know what? Let's just plant. You know, if I'm going to stress about it's too deep, it's not too deep, it's this, you know, let's just go for it. Right? I'm putting them in one pot. Don't ask me why. I think they look good together. You know. Look, oh no, I think it doesn't look great. The roots are, I don't know if you can see, the roots comes from here. So this part, much of it is not covered. Alrighty, so change of plan. Change of plan. Okay, I do have this pot, but also it might not be. Might be. I'm gonna have to cut this thing. Need to find my scissor. I'm gonna have to cut it. Let's just rinse it. If I can find a jar with water, let's rinse it and see where I can cut it. So I'm gonna have to cut it. Alrighty, that's the last plant I'm doing. I'm gonna grab my scissors and I'm gonna chop that stalk. Alrighty, I've got my pruners here with me. You need to throw this back, and I'm just gonna chop it. Let's make sure we don't chop our roots. Yeah, I've been trying to save a stem that doesn't even have roots. Can you believe it? Right at the bottom. Yeah, that's better. Now I can still use this pot. I didn't check properly to see if there's roots all the way to the bottom. Silly me, huh? There we go. That's better. All right. Now we can put soil in. All right. That's great. It's still a little bit showing. Yes. I shouldn't put too much at the bottom. Yeah, that's better. Don't put too much soil at the bottom. Great, I am done. This has been wonderful. Yeah, but you should see my window sill now in my kitchen is naked. But I'm going to put these plants back there for them to adjust, because that's where they've lived all their lives, meaning from the day I chopped them. They've lived on my windowsill in the kitchen, where they received bright light throughout the day and warmth, obviously, in the kitchen with the cooking and the boiling of water and all of those things. And they have loved that environment. So I'm going to give them time to just sit there for a little bit, for a few weeks or so, to just adjust. And it will help me. That's what I do with most of my propagation. Once I'm done propagating, not always, I must be honest, not always. I put them back there, and my number one reason is that I don't have anything there, and I'm used to having something there. So yeah, so it looks a bit weird to not have plants on that windowsill. That's my number one reason. But number two is that at least I get to care for them all at once, because they require water propagations. Once you transition them to soil, you need to maintain the soil moist and make sure they don't dry out in the first few, I would say first few weeks or so, depending. And then from there, you can now begin to look after them in a way that you would a plant that is well adjusted, you know, and things like that. So that way I don't, yeah, I can easily just look after them from one space and whatever. And also, I must be honest, if I have to put them around my house, I first need to go see where to put them. So, and yeah, that's another thing, you know. So for now, they're gonna go back where they were. I hope they fit. The ones that don't fit by that windowsill, obviously we'll find a spot for them around the house. And then I will distribute them around the house then from there slowly. That's, you know, dispatch them slowly. Yeah, and start another propagation cycle. But anyway, it's been fun. So now I'm going to water my plants. I just want to remove this off the table, and yeah, I try to make as less mess as possible. You can never not make a mess. Please tell me if you are that person who never make a mess, and tell me, what is it you do? What is it you do that I can do the same? Okay, we're gonna give it water. You wanna water the plants you are transitioning from water to soil after you plant them. You don't want to shock them. Don't leave them and tell yourself you'll do it later. Please, you will shock your plants. Don't do that to your plants. So so yeah, whatever, I'm done watering. Okay, there we go. And you can, I don't know if you can see, yeah? I tend to forget to move things aside, forgetting that there's a camera in front of me. Then we move it this side and we do another one. Okay, and do another one. There we go. You want to make sure that you water it thoroughly. Don't just give it a sip, right? Oh, I've got a wax ivy here. I didn't tell you about. That's one of the plants I have here. It's a cute little plant of mine. I love wax ivy. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. So, okay. And then we're going to do these big mamas. If I manage to keep this pot for years and years to come, it will be a pot to tell a story about to my grandchildren one day. Okay, I'm gonna use this water that you can use your propagation water to water your plants with. It's not an issue. You don't have to throw it away. I'm trying to make space. But obviously, once that looks a bit like this, or like, I'm not gonna use it. If it looks a little bit weird and, if it's nice and clear and I know, yeah, I'll use it. But if it's a bit on the milky side of things and slimy side of things, I don't use it. Okay. And you. Alrighty. There you go. I just put it aside to drain. Yeah, this was fun. I hope I've encouraged someone to go if you are busy propagating or you love propagating like me, like I do, and you've got plants that are waiting for you to go and transplant into soil. I hope I've encouraged you to do that. Yeah, be careful not if you're gonna directly water onto the leaf. Trust me, that's gonna happen. It's not gonna go into soil. Hello. Okay, this one, I don't like how it looks. Doesn't look fresh at all, so I'm not gonna use it. So because I don't think I've given it enough, we're gonna... Ooh, the mess I'm making here. Oh, yeah. I can get a trophy for that if there is. All right. 3 more to go and I'll be done. And I'll show you the other one that's the only plant pot I have here that doesn't have a drainage hole, which I've used. The rest have. Okay, I think. Alrighty. I broke it last. And one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Anyway, again, it happens, right? Okay, I'm gonna finish because now I've got more mess to clean. It's not just soil and water, now it's soil and water and glass. So I'm gonna finish here. Now let me show you how I water this one. So I do it slowly, and once I've given it, I'm gonna leave it, and later, oh not now, later, even if it's few hours later, I'll come back and drain up what I think might be sitting at the bottom, right? If there's nothing, then awesome. You know what I mean? But this one you don't give too much. You can see even the water is finished. Yeah, this one is clear. You don't give it too much. That's it. So this one I'm gonna give it like that. And I'll come back and hold it nicely and see if there's anything that drips out. But anyway, it's been fun. Until next time, have yourself a beautiful, beautiful day. I've got a mess to clean. I'm gonna start with this glass because I've got dogs. And yes, my kids are grown at least, but I've got dogs. Molly and Zoe. It's a golden retriever and a border collie. I'm surprised when that fell, they didn't run this side. They're probably with my husband. They love, when they see I'm busy, they go to the one who's not busy. I don't know if your dogs are the same. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to clean up. But anyway, that's it. I'm glad I did this. I cannot wait for them to adjust to this, to soil and grow and flourish. And over time, obviously, I'll spread them around my house and find spots for them. And I'll give you an update. Not now, probably after a few months. I can't give you an update in a month or so, but after a few months, I will definitely give you an update. I'll take a picture of them. Sometimes they grow so much that you forget which one was which one was. You know what I mean? Which one was a propagation I did recently? And so I'm going to take a picture of them that I can remind myself what I need to give you an update on, and then we'll take it from there. But anyway, it's been fun. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful day, and thank you so much for joining me. And look forward to your comments. And if you are new here, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And give it a thumbs up, this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and comment down below. That will mean a lot. I would like to hear your thoughts on propagation. If it's something you are into, and if you are not, what are the reasons, and what's stopping you, and and if you are into, what is your favorite plant to propagate? As for me, I do anything that can propagate, but my favorite plants to propagate is your pothos and your philodendrons, and I love propagating. But at the end of the day, anything I can cut and put in soil, or anything I can divide and separate and replant, or pot up, or I do it. I really do. But anyway, it's been fun. I'm gonna clean up.